All right, everybody. It is episode 22. Or is it 21, 22?
I don't even know.
Oh, crap.
look at your notes.
It is 22.
22.
22 of the Buko Boys.
All right. Hey, this is DVO.
And I'm Dale.
And we're in the DVO studios once again.
All right.
But it's going to be changing soon. This is going to be their nursery soon.
Oh, I know. We're going to move it over to my house. We'll set up something real cool over there.
Yeah, we'll get it situated. So look out. We got some cool things coming up soon.
Let's see. So, anything new with you going on?
I've had a pretty busy week. I've been just out busy. I got a lot of things going on. My wife's birthday's coming up, and I'm trying to just throw like a little shindig for the family. So with everything I'm already busy with and trying to organize this party, we're trying to do a Mardi Gras party. Kind of a Mardi Gras theme, which you know because you're invited. But
Yes,
we're just inviting some of the friends over at your clubhouse. We're actually be at your clubhouse, and so I'm trying to throw a Mardi Gras themed party, and so I'm trying to come up with all these recipes. Not come up with them, but kind of get everything ready because they're things I've never made, and now I'm second guessing this as maybe a bad idea because I'm gonna make jambalaya. Never made it before. I'm gonna do it crock pot style because I'm busy, and I want to do a shrimp boil because I freaking love shrimp. So, and I know that it's too hard to find crawfish right now, so that's why I'm going to do shrimp. Never done that before either, so it's going to be very interesting to turn out. But I got a bunch of masks, so people can wear masks. So I got one for you and everybody else. So it'll be fun. That's what I've been up to. How about you?
Well, I went and investigated a cemetery out in Sacramento.
Interesting.
It was old. It was real old. It was like people dying from the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lot of crazy Mason symbols on a ton of the headstones over there. Big, giant, massive headstones with tons of Mason symbols all over them. And it was scattered everywhere and real old.
Interesting.
And it seemed like they were shipped from other Mason cities. So like, it would say this person from Syracuse, New York, native of Syracuse, New York, and this person native of whatever city, Virginia City or whatever. But anyways, they were all from the 1800s. But it was pretty interesting. I wanted to maybe investigate some more of that. But I used that new device that I bought. I posted about it on our Instagram. It worked out pretty good.
So it was a new EMF reader. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it picks up EMF. So it's kind of like a K2. It was a lot better price and it has sound. And it charges with a USB instead of a 9-volt battery.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of good things about it. So I was like, this thing pretty badass.
Did you bring it?
With me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't bring it with me. But I went and tried it out over there and I did pick up some readings on it.
So what kind of results did you get?
A couple times on the Ghost Meter Pro I picked up some things. And then using the K2 device and then using that new EMF detector. That new EMF detector was picking up on some things that was, I was trying to find a reading that was getting 0 readings. I was trying to mess with it, move it around to see if what would set it off.
Okay.
So I was kind of learning what things set it off, so I know some things what wouldn't be readings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was testing all that stuff out, and there was times where I was just standing still, and randomly it would pick up a reading, which was pretty strange.
Interesting.
And
did you feel like you got some communication?
Yeah, we got communication a couple times, but it wasn't anything major. It was the middle of the daytime too.
Okay.
We took some pretty cool pictures. There's some really cool stuff out there. I'll post the pictures on Instagram.
All right, awesome. And we had a good time. We ran into a couple of friends who were also listeners. So obviously our cousin Philip came in from out of town. We were hanging out with him, and he's a listener, so we'll give him a shout out. And then we went out and took him out in our old stomping grounds of Midvale and ran into our friends Elsa and Joe, and they're listeners too. So give those guys a shout out.
What's up?
Thanks for listening, guys. So you posted this story in our notes here, and it's pretty interesting. Go ahead and talk about it.
Well, you know what else happened real quick?
Oh,
I forgot to tell you about. There was a TV show that called me.
Oh.
A TV show for a paranormal TV show called me.
I think you mentioned it on here before that you filled in an application or something like that.
Did I talk about it?
Yeah,
because it was just a random thing that popped up. Somebody posted on Facebook. I was like, I'll give it a try. I'll apply.
Okay.
So I applied and they called me. and they gave me a phone interview.
Interesting.
And I was at the bar at the time with Philip. We were taking him out. You weren't with us that day.
Nope.
And they called me up and wanted to talk to me. And I was probably like 4 shots deep, and like we were on our second picture. And I'm just like, oh man, this is the wrong time. So I'm still checking the call, and I step outside so it's not all loud because we're at the bar. So I step outside and I'm freezing and I'm shivering and trying to talk to them, and I'm drawing blanks to their questions. Like one of the questions was, what was one of the craziest things that happened to you on an investigation?
Okay.
And I was drawing blanks. I couldn't think of a damn thing.
I was molested by a ghost.
And I couldn't even remember that.
But
the time I was getting my ass grabbed. I couldn't even think of that. I was drawing blanks and I'm like, duh. And I can't even remember what the bullshit I babbled out, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could redo this interview.
That's funny.
And I was like, can I text this number they called me from and say, can we do this again?
Can I hit the reset button, please?
But they said if they want to do a second interview with me, then they were going to fly me out to Los Angeles in the end of March for like 4 days.
Did they say when they get back to you?
No, they did not say
All right.
They're probably going to get back to me at the most inconvenient time again.
Yeah.
So that's so probably when I'm really busy, that's when they're gonna call me.
Like you go to like a dentist office or something, and that's when they'll call you again.
Probably.
You're at the doctor's office and you're about to get probed by the doctor, and they call you.
I know, huh? When I'm on my side, I'm already clenching and.
So that'd be interesting. Well, speaking of getting probed by doctors, so you posted a story in our notes here about anti-vaxxers, right?
Right.
So kind of tell me the essence of this story here.
It was somebody asking a question on social media.
Okay.
And so this was an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, I did see this story. I didn't look at the notes you put in, but I did see this story. Okay.
I was actually wondering if this person was from Florida.
Good question.
But so here it is. I'll read it. My 3-year-old is not vaccinated, and there is currently a measles outbreak in my state. Any suggestions for precautions I can take to protect her would be very much appreciated.
Maybe anti-vaccine?
Maybe a vaccination.
Maybe a vaccination.
Idiot. I don't get why people would not want to vaccinate.
Polio's gonna make a comeback if we don't.
People, yeah, there's gonna be all sorts of stuff like that happening again. Measles, smallpox.
Why do you think they don't though? They feel like
they think that it
weakens their
autism.
immune.
There's links. People say there's links to it causing autism in kids and this, that, and the other.
Well, okay, I got a question on that then. Does autism develop, or is that something born with?
See, and I thought it was something born with.
Me too.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So this seems like, this almost doesn't make any sense. Or, I mean, there's other reasons people don't want to do it too. I think there's more conspiracy things behind it. But
okay.
But at the same time, these kids are now at risk.
Right, because they're not vaccinated
and
from
the parents
measles
themselves that are what's funny is I'd say 99% of the parents that are not wanting to vaccinate their kids are themselves vaccinated.
But maybe because their parents vaccinated.
Right. But so they're not at risk. Their kids are.
Okay, good point.
So, they're putting their kids at risk. Like, they don't have shit to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to vaccinate my kids because this, that, and the other. Well, they can get smallpox. Well, I ain't going to get it.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Yeah, I don't get
That's
it.
selfish. I think it's pretty selfish.
I mean, it's known to prevent... and even if they think it does cause something like that, what's the percentage as well, right? Like, for me, I don't dabble with small percentages.
But here's another thing, too, is how did they link that these... let me see. Actually, let's put this back down. How do I get rid of that screen? Put back up the...
I don't know. Shouldn't have hit that link, I guess.
Okay, there we go. That's better. That is just so I don't worry. But anyways, where was I now?
I don't know. You were gonna talk
Damn it!
about...
I got lost there.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that. Yeah, I think people... I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm having a baby soon. I'm gonna have them vaccinated. I don't want no chances of polio coming back, smallpox or whatever, measles. Mumps.
Measles, yeah, that's another one. And mumps is all coming back.
Yeah, so so it's an outbreak in school. Are all these kids not vaccinated then? It makes me wonder.
Oh, okay. Now I remember where I was going. Okay, so a link to autism and vaccinations.
Okay.
How do they even make that link? Because most people vaccinate babies right away, right?
Yeah.
And they don't find that they're autistic till a little bit later, right?
Okay.
So who knows if it was from the vaccination or they were born with it?
Right.
Because everyone's pretty much vaccinated young. So I guess they could study these kids that were not vaccinated to see if they're still getting autism and say, okay, that's not the case, and let's hurry vaccinate these little shits.
Okay. I wonder what percentage are also not getting vaccinated either.
Yeah.
But but it's a funny story, right? Like, hey, how can there's an outbreak of measles in the school? How can I prevent it? Oh, yeah,
Go get a
vaccinated.
Shot. There's a shot for that.
Yeah, that's easy one.
But I don't know. I don't know what the other reasons why. I don't know what the conspiracies are behind it, that people are scared of vaccinating their kids. Like if they're putting nanobots in them or something. I don't know.
That's the future of vaccinations.
Right?
Nanobots.
Putting little nanobots that just eat away viruses.
Yeah, they're trained to eat only the evil
That would be
ones.
the shit if that's the future.
You were the HIV ones.
Oh, I bet you that will come out in the future.
Could be.
HIV nanobots.
Yeah, it could be. It'd be interesting. That's for sure. It'd be very interesting.
I wonder if they should make a movie about it.
I don't want to watch it.
I wouldn't either. That sounds stupid as hell.
But yeah, I don't know if you have any other topics on that, but yeah, definitely get your kids vaccinated.
Yeah, there's nothing really.
But if you guys don't want to get your kids vaccinated, you got a good reason why. We want to hear about it.
Actually, yeah, that's a good topic. Yeah, that's a good question for the audience.
So you guys let us know. You can email us bukoboyspodcast@gmail.com or Instagram and Facebook. Just look us up at Buko Boys, and let us know what you guys think about vaccinations. Are you for it, against it, and if you're against it, why? I'm curious.
Yes,
I'm curious. So another story that I posted is a local story out of Provo, Utah, and it was all over local. I don't know if it went national, but it's pretty local. And this gentleman, he lives against, was it Provo Canyon?
Yeah, it was Provo
Canyon. And in his neighborhood, he can see, and he's video recording this. He can see a large live creature, and he was saying this has got to be Bigfoot, right? So that's his claim. There was Bigfoot. He was saying from a distance where they were, it was very massive. Obviously, watching it, you watched it, right?
You're right. So I watched it.
It looks really blurry. I mean,
because he zooms in.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I don't know, the driveway of their house or something.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah, definitely from a neighborhood.
And there's like a peak of the mountain right there where the woods are, and this large figure steps out and just kind of
sitting on a rock. It looked like.
No, it looked like he was just like standing, just leering out over the city or over the neighborhood in Provo Canyon,
and just maybe picking out which kids he wants to snatch up at night. So which one looks like a nice morsel?
I don't think that was Bigfoot.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
For one, I don't think they would be going into those neighborhoods. I think Provo Canyon is so busy.
Like saturated with population?
Yes, there's so many people coming in and out of that canyon every day and overusing everything. There's parks and everything there. There's neighborhoods. There's that main highway that goes through it. I really don't see why a Bigfoot that's been wanting to stay elusive for so many years just be openly out in the neighborhood like that. Just standing out, doing his thing, his Squatch thing, letting it hang.
I mean, I saw somebody said it was, it looked like a bear. I couldn't make out anything. It was so blurry because it's such a distance. It could have
definitely been a bear standing up, and because it looked like it was kind of like putting its arm out on a tree. It was looking pretty large. It looked kind of like it put its arm out on a tree or something like that. But I could definitely see it being a bear standing up, or just a person out for a hike or whatever, and just walking out there. Maybe there's people that are, it could have been a 6 foot something guy, 6'5", whatever, Yeah,
it's hard to tell, right? Because he was saying it's too big to be a person. Now, I don't know if he's seen many people at that distance. So,
right. How tall are those trees that are right there?
It's hard to gauge everything based on the video. But why I wanted to bring it up was because it kind of sparked an idea for me, an interest in me. So I have a question for you, Dale.
What is
Do
that?
you believe in Bigfoot?
I believe that there is a possibility that there is a bipedal creature that we don't know about. I believe that there's a high possibility. I'm completely open to it.
Okay. And I bring it because I believe exactly what you just said. And I didn't ask you until just now. So I believe the same thing, right? I can't say, no, they don't exist. And I can't say, yeah, for sure exist. I'm just saying, yeah, I can see the possibility of it happening. You know, I think it was within just the last 10 years, they found a whole new species of gorilla.
Yeah.
In a jungle area. And I can't remember I can't remember off the top of my head now.
They've found a small dwarf humanoid creatures in Indonesia. I forgot the name of those people.
Okay.
But they're like 4 foot, 3 foot people.
Pygmies or?
Yeah, but I can't remember the name for them. But it was a whole culture or a whole tribe out there in Indonesia. They found all their bones and everything.
So is there also then like a possibility of a giant hairy creature?
Right.
Or even giants?
Exactly. So what about those giant bones that they found? Have you seen documentaries on those? There's documentaries on bones that they found, giant bones.
Okay.
But I don't know what happens to all those documentaries. I don't ever find, like, I'll see them come out and I never have time to watch it, and then they just disappear. I don't ever see them again. And it's like almost, I don't know. I haven't.
Oh, so you haven't watched it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well.
So I don't know if those documentaries are legit or if they found things like that. I would like to watch some of those documentaries. We should watch some of those documentaries.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Because what if that's just a offspring, evolution of these giants?
Right. And you know, so we listen to podcasts all the time, and some of the podcasts that we do listen to, so like me, like I listen to like a lot of self-improvement type or talks and interviews, but also I listen to a couple of fun ones once in a while, a couple of paranormal and a couple crypto. So Bigfoot's a big topic on some of them, and so I'll give a shout out to them: Sasquatch Chronicles, and what's the other one with Merkel?
Paranormal.
No. They do a podcast together called The Renegade Podcast. But Tony Merkel does another one called Confessionals. Yeah, that's it. And they're both more geared towards Sasquatch and Bigfoot. And so I listen to them once in a while when I'm kind of like, okay, it's like a Saturday, I'm going to listen to something a little different. And, I don't know, it makes me kind of wonder sometimes. So many people have stories. Are they all lying? Are they all seeing things? Even if 1% of them is accurate, there's still the possibility. Even if at 1%, there's still the possibility that there's something out there that exists.
Do you think that some of the accounts have been like
misunderstood
with mange?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I bring up, even if 1% of those stories are correct, then that means it's out there. You know what I mean? Right. So is everyone calling in making up stories, or is everyone calling in totally misunderstanding what they're seeing? So, pose a pretty interesting question, kind of thinking about it. And I brought it up because when this story came out, I put it down in the notes to talk about, but then I was listening to one of those podcasts over the weekend, and they were talking to, I think it was some type of doctor or, I don't know, he studies this stuff a lot. And then he mentioned that, right? Even if 1% of this stuff is true, then that means something's out there. And so it was pretty interesting. And, I was watching some shows, and in like Nepal or Tibet, like the Yeti, the Yeti is what they call it out there. It's like normal for them. Like they know it. They just know it's out there. Like they know at night they need to put away their yaks, or else it's gonna come in and snatch up their yaks at night. And so I mean they're very secluded, but they're not really tainted, I guess, with the whole conspiracy theory about everything's fake. They just like, yeah, we see these all the time.
Well, it's crazy.
We hear them.
There's different cultures from different parts of America that probably have never interacted before, but all have stories of a type of Bigfoot.
Right.
And, from the East Coast up in northern Canada, Alaska, all the way down south. Florida,
Louisiana, Alabama.
Right. And so even those tribes of Native Americans had stories of these Sasquatch creatures.
Right. Good point.
And none of them had interacted before, because that's a huge distance to cross.
Good point. Right? They have stories of it. They draw it on the caves and you know, in different regions are different. You know, down south, like I mentioned, Louisiana, Alabama,
they almost
Florida,
like evolve to their conditions.
Yeah, well, they call it skunk ape, and it's a smaller version. It's like 5 foot, maybe.
Probably because it's all grasslands.
Yeah, and they say it just stinks like crazy because they like smell it coming because it's just so humid and it's just soaking from all that hair.
Mm-hmm. It's like moss growing on it. And musk.
And then on the east, Virginia, those areas like that, it's they call them like boogers.
Don't they got like a howler or something?
Yeah, they have a lot of names: boogers, howlers.
Boogers?
Yeah, that's what they call them. They call them boogers.
I need to listen to more of that podcast. I haven't heard that.
And then like the Pacific and the Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Utah, Montana, it's like what you know as Bigfoot. So it's like, 7 feet tall, built like a truck.
Harry and the Henderson.
Yeah, Harry and the Henderson. So yeah, like you just mentioned, different regions have different kind of styles of how they've evolved. And then even, like I said, like Nepal and India, Tibet, they've all got, the Yeti, and it's more like brown, like a light brown, sandy. Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting.
And some people describe the face differently too. Some people describe the face as more human-like, and other people describe the face as more ape-like.
Yeah.
And so
some have a conical shape to their head, like cone-shaped head.
Yeah, and I think
face.
some of those accounts might be when they see like a black bear with mange.
Okay.
I could see someone seeing that and mistaking that right away, because they want to think it's something mythical.
But a black bear with mange will still have a snout. And a lot of them are
saying
they
see
like
them
a flat
face on, like sometimes I see them at the window or something, because black bears go up to people's homes all the time.
Yeah.
And a black bear with mange at your window looking in, and somebody, at night hearing the noise and looking out the window, and that's what they see, that might freak them out. And they don't see the snout because it's right at them.
Straight on, there's the perspective.
That's probably, at night with that perspective and just the conditions being the way it is.
Yeah.
They probably see it like that and, just scream Bigfoot at anything.
Right. And again, I'm not saying Bigfoot's real. I'm just saying the possibility for me is out there, and it just intrigues the hell out of me.
Right. And whenever somebody has some type of proof, I think the only proof that they have right now is there's some DNA, some hair samples that prove it's like linked to some type of human.
Right.
Unknown species.
Or inconclusive.
Inconclusive, unknown species.
And that gets very interesting. Right. It's inconclusive like that.
And it's funny how it just gets stuck there. That the DNA just gets stuck there, and the story just gets stuck there, and the story just kind of gets lost in time.
Yeah, because really, where else can you say, right? They say, it's definitely not human, it's definitely not a bear, definitely not ape. We don't know what it is, so that's the end of that, I guess.
Yeah, and then you don't hear shit else about the story ever again.
So do you think that one needs to be killed for the proof? Or captured? I don't think you can just capture it, though.
Capturing would be the better.
The ideal, right?
Yes. That would be more ideal than just killing something that...
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to kill one. I wouldn't want to see one get killed. If somebody had evidence, I'd rather them use... If they could shoot one, they could probably just get a good camera with a zoom lens and just start snapping pictures.
Yeah, but people it'll always try to be debunked, on photograph, I think.
Turn on the GoPro, maybe sacrifice yourself. Instead of killing a Bigfoot, sacrifice yourself. Put a GoPro on, and then, let people know what you're doing, and go out there and just provoke the shit out of one, and just jump at it, start attacking it, and have a GoPro running the whole time.
Would you?
I wouldn't sacrifice myself, but I think people would. There's some crazies out there that would totally give up their life
want to
for
prove
a
it,
squatch.
right?
Yeah, they would squatch, that would what they want on their tombstone.
Would you ever go squatching?
I would go squatching.
I wouldn't.
I would, and I'd have GoPros out. I'd do it to where, try to capture on video.
No, what if it starts chasing you?
I've never seen one harm somebody, or heard of somebody getting harmed by one. Any encounter, they've never gotten hurt.
Yeah, or else they just haven't been found, right? They're quote
I've heard of
unquote
somebody
missing.
getting pushed. I've heard of on that Bigfoot Chronicles. There was a story where somebody was getting like he could hear something following him.
Okay.
And every time he would he could hear it coming. I don't remember the whole story. Anyways, he got to a certain point where the thing that was chasing him or following him pushed him real hard from behind. As he said, like once he reached a certain spot, like as he was getting to his car or whatever, once he crossed this threshold, he got pushed over it and pushed, pretty hard as like a don't come back type of push.
Okay.
But other than that, I've never heard of anyone else like getting hurt.
I heard a story. I've heard 2 stories on these podcasts that were pretty interesting. One was an individual, and he was sleeping in his tent, and it straight up picked him up and carried him. And
in tent and all?
No, pulled him out of the tent.
Oh, pulled him out of the tent?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, pulled him out of the tent, carried him like a baby. And this was a grown man. All right? I can't remember if it was... Maybe it was over his shoulder. I'm trying to remember now. Maybe it was thrown over the shoulder. And just walked. And he pretended like he was sleeping or dead. Like he just pretended like he was out.
He's probably shitting in his pants.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
all over the
and then you like went to like a, not really like a cave, but just kind of like a rock formation, and just kind of put him down there. And it just kind of it was just like staring at him. And it left, and then he got up and left, So, pretty crazy. He could be lying. He could definitely be lying. But it's just it was just a story that I found really interesting. Another story that I have also found interesting, and I kind of, I hate to say I believe this guy, but just in his voice, his tonality, really, like you could tell he was shook. Like his voice was trembling. He got a little choked up during telling the story. But anyway, he was a hunter. A bow hunter, and he has his what's it called in the tree?
Is he blind?
Yeah, stand. That's it. He has a stand up in his tree, and he's up there, and he's decked out in camouflage, and he's just kind of sitting there waiting for. I think he was going for wild boar or turkey. I can't remember. And he noticed that he wasn't really paying attention, but all of a sudden it kind of hit him like, whoa, things just got eerily quiet because birds stopped chirping. He stopped hearing rustling in the leaves on the ground, and all of a sudden, from behind his ankle, he feels a squeeze on his ankle.
So while he's up in the blind,
while he's up in his stand, and he's up high, right? He's up. I don't know how high they go. 10, 15 feet. I don't even know.
As high as they want to go.
Yeah. So I mean, he's up there, and he just feels this squeeze on his ankle, and he looks down. He sees what he says is, Sasquatch just staring back at him. And it came up from behind him. So he didn't even hear it coming from behind. Came up from behind him, squeezed him, and it just kind of looked at him and was like, what? He said he kind of felt the impression of saying, looking at him like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And it just kind of looked at him and just walked off. And he just said he just sat there and he climbed down. And when he climbed down, he just fell to the ground. And he pissed himself.
He's probably bawling. Yeah. He's probably curled up in a ball, bawling.
He pissed him. Yeah, he said he pissed himself, and he said he sat down there, and it felt like hours he was sitting there on the ground.
Oh my god!
But he said it was maybe 15 to 30 minutes, but he felt like hours, and he didn't know where to go because he saw it go straight ahead of him, but he didn't know if it's still out there or if it came circled around behind him. He didn't know.
So do you think?
He was scared.
Do you think like the Sasquatch was just confused because it's camouflaged and hidden, and Bigfoot just kind of walked up and was like, "They're trying to trick me?"
Yeah,
grabbed his leg. Yeah, I see you, dumbass.
Yeah, I definitely wonder. Like he said,
he can't trick me, or maybe he was tricked and was like, "You got me."
That'd be funny. That's his response. But it's like, I don't know. Like I can't say. I can't say
deer.
It's true.
Think of a deer. Like he's trying to shoot a deer. The deer can't walk up and like investigate that.
Right.
Where a Bigfoot could reach that, they'd walk up and like investigate.
Yeah.
Grab an ankle.
Because he was guessing it was maybe 8 feet tall. That was his guess. He's like, if I had to guess, it was like 8 feet tall, and then another 3 or 4 feet hand reach.
I think it would be really cool if they took these people that they interviewed with these stories, and then had them take a lie detector test.
That might be interesting.
And then have them see about if they, you see how many of them, because I know lie detector tests aren't always 100% accurate,
Right.
but just see what the average would be. See if there's an average of more lies than truth.
Well, here's another thing too. A lot of those people that come on and tell their stories, a lot of them don't want their real name released. They don't even want the area that they're at released, because they're like, I don't want to get made fun of. Like, I don't want my family and friends and coworkers to know what I'm telling you. I don't want them to know this is me.
Well, I wouldn't say that they were lying about what they saw, but I would think if guys.
Oh, I'm just saying my point is they might not want to do it because they don't care. Like, they don't care if you think they're telling the truth or not.
Well, I mean, just for science reasons.
Yeah,
I mean, that's lie detector just for science.
I don't think most of them would do it though. Like, a lot of them just don't want to be known. Like, they don't give their true name, or they don't give their last name. They don't give the area.
Well, if the show provided it to them for free, like, hey, you did this interview with us, let's just see how truthful you are about it. We won't tell you the results.
I don't know. I don't think they'd like
They can say, we won't tell you the results. We won't tell you if you lied to us or not. We just want to get an average of what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so but that's also not the show premise. The show premise is, hey, come on, tell your stories.
I know that show. I'm just saying another show doing one.
Yeah.
I think if another show did one, that would be... If people were willing to give one, that'd be the shit.
It'd be interesting to see the results. Yeah. I don't really see it happening, but...
I don't see it happening either, but I think that would be a pretty cool way to see how a ratio of truthfulness and lies...
Yeah.
If people are just trying to say bullshit just to get famous real quick.
What else do you think it is? Because a lot of them, like I said, they don't want to give their full names or the areas. They just are like, I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't want my friends to think I'm crazy, so I'm going to use this alias, or I'm just going to give you my first name. But, like, I guess, why do you think they do that? Just to kind of get off their chest? Like,
I think
it's a safe place.
Yeah, probably just to say it, just an outlet to say it somewhere where people...
Without being judged.
Yeah. I could see that.
What else do you think, besides, like, bears or bears with mange, what else do you think people might be seeing? Obviously, in the Pacific Northwest, I don't believe there's orangutans or gorillas up there.
In the Pacific Northwest, there's Mick Dodge.
There's Mick Dodge.
What if they saw Mick Dodge running around the
He's
forest?
got some crazy stories like that.
I know, right? So, yeah, the Pacific Northwest has a lot of weird mountain men that just live off the land.
Yeah, they're off the grid, yeah.
Yeah, Mick Dodge has all sorts of friends out there in the woods.
So I don't know if you guys know Mick Dodge. He was on National Geographic, and he's been out in the woods for decades. Right? Just no shoes.
No shoes. He got tree trunks tattooed on his feet.
Yeah, he lives in tree trunks.
Yeah, he has little stash spots all over the forest.
Yeah, he kind of sleeps on moss, travels to his friends' houses that are off the grid, and sleeps in their,
trades. He goes out and trades things for, like,
once
a year he goes to the city and gets a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
He makes it all an awkward experience.
Yeah. Obviously on National Geographic is probably a little bit exaggerated, but still, I mean, I found it pretty interesting.
I like the show, but I think someone like him would have a lot of cool stories about us seeing squatches or something.
For sure.
I think seeing what that forest looks like in that show, because I think the Uinta forest here in Utah is massive and, I mean, goes forever. That there could totally be squatches.
Yeah, Uinta, Wasatch.
And then...
So you think that it's very possible here in Utah there are some squatches?
There's forests for miles and miles and miles. I could totally see there being, like, some type of creatures out there, because, I mean, people will explore that. There's trails and stuff, but, I mean, there's so many things, so many miles off the trails.
So I'm up camping one night, and we hear some weird noises. We're like, what the heck is that? Like, we hear it out there outside of our tent. We're like, what the heck? So we're up in the mountains.
Salamanders.
And no, this was a big creature. It was a big creature making noise. And we're like, what the heck is out there? And we're up by Strawberry Reservoir, just to kind of give you guys a perspective.
That's where all the salamanders.
They're out there. They walk into the fire pits. And we finally kind of peek our head out to see what's that big noise outside. Do you want to take a guess what it is?
Bear.
Nope.
Moose.
Nope. It's a freaking cattle coming through.
Oh, people are letting their cows through your campground?
I don't know, because where we would camp was kind of a little hidden and secluded a little bit.
Oh, so you were probably on public...
No.
Not public land, but national forest land.
Yeah, we are.
So that's free range for cattlemen.
Yeah. So, obviously they're not like wild cattle walking around. I don't know whose it was, but they did creep up on us though.
And they probably shit all over your stuff.
No, but it was how many were there? There were like four to six. And all of a sudden we didn't even hear them coming. All of a sudden we just hear it because it was right around us. So, it makes you wonder, like 4 to 6 cattle just kind of crept up on us. I can kind of see Bigfoot kind of creeping up on somebody.
Oh, I've heard crazy stories about that where people have been in their tents and the Bigfoot, like, doing stuff to their tents or being around inside their tents and doing stuff.
Kind of scratching at it and things like that. I mean, it's interesting. I find Bigfoot pretty interesting.
I would go squatching, though. You don't really need much besides cameras and a stick.
Yeah, you get some wood knocks, hit them against it.
And
do you have a Bigfoot call?
No, but I can practice. Do you have one?
It might be too loud on the microphone.
Sit a little back and do it.
I don't want to
do it up in the air so you're not doing it into the microphone.
That'd be too funny.
I'll do one. I'm going to make one up.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Is that squatchy?
Sounds pretty squatchy.
Okay, you do one.
Good. What's that?
Yeah, you do one now.
Oh man, I gotta stop laughing. That sounds more like a cow.
That was horrible.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Like a dying cow.
I don't want to be
Your neighbor's gonna think.
They can't hear me. That'd be funny. I don't want to go squatching because I don't want to run into the damn thing. That's why.
I would like to see one with my own eyes.
I would love to see one with my own eyes at a very far distance with binoculars.
Oh, what was that? Was it a Netflix special that had that one Squatch hunter with that evidence of the face, close up of the face?
Yes. Oh damn! I wish I would have got his name. Yeah, it was. So did you watch it?
Yeah, I did after you told me about it, and I should have paid more attention to the show. I kept rewinding it and rewatching.
You keep playing on your phone when you watch TV.
I know.
So,
but anyways, I did watch it, and I don't remember a lot about it.
So I wish I knew his name, but he basically will go spend like a week or 2 weeks by himself up in the mountains.
Didn't he say like the Squatches were like recognizing him, his vehicle, and everything?
That's why he would spend so much time. That's why he would spend like a week or 2 at a time. He wanted them to get familiar with him, and so he kind of felt like they felt more comfortable, I guess you could say, but they get closer because they would see him. And what he would do is he would mount cameras, and one evidence he had was pretty freaky. Obviously, this could be staged, but it was freaky. What he did was he had a little fire pit going for him, and he put 3 apples on a fallen down log. So there was a log laying down. He put 3 apples. And he's kind of getting situated. Like he put the camera facing those apples, and he's kind of getting situated. Like he's moving around, kind of getting the fire going. And he moves out of the way, and now all of a sudden you can only see 2 apples. So could one have fallen? Yeah, and then you see another take, and they zoom in, and you see a hand reach up from behind the log, grab an apple, and pull it down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pretty freaky, right? Now, easily that could be staged, but it's still pretty freaky.
It's just it's given as evidence for what it is. Take it how you want it. If you want to believe it or not, that's what he got. So I think it's pretty cool evidence. If he's being honest and he was just up there by himself, and
right,
I think that's pretty cool. But then that one of the face.
Yeah, so he's got this camera he mounted. He was hiding. And he would wear ghillie suits and camouflage suits, and he saw what he says is he saw one, and he zoomed in on the face with his camera, and at first when I first saw it, it looked kind of like a statue. It was not really moving, and then it blinked.
Yeah,
and that was pretty freaky. And he was basically saying that he thinks they were kind of looking. They lost him, right? Because they had him in their sights. he had his ghillie suit on. He was kind of hiding, and they couldn't find him. So I think what he was saying was, they're kind of looking for me. They're kind of I went out of sight for them. They're trying to find me, so they're just being very still, very quiet.
And didn't he say that there's like watchers that sit out all day?
Oh, good one. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, he said something like they would just sit there all day long and just stare, and they'd communicate with others by like knocking or something to I don't know, whatever the communication
they need. They make their own noises. They do whistles and they do
whistles too. Yes.
Yeah, whistles and howls, and then they'll mimic other creatures. They'll like try to mimic birds or things like that.
And so whether it's just like pass it along a chain to the
something like that. So yeah, pretty freaky. And then,
you think they have like an underground, like a whole neighborhood,
like a whole city under the ground?
Yeah, from with that many, like it sounds like there's a whole group of them from what this guy was encountering, right?
Well, there's got to be. They've been spotted for years. If they do exist, they've got to be like families, right? Kind of my idea, kind of like a family situation where a mom gives birth and watches over their kin,
Right. And if somebody's dying, their bodies all stay underground. Maybe
could be.
That's why there hasn't been a body found.
And someone else brought up that's a good thing to bring up too. Why haven't we found a body? And there's a lot of things, right? They might cannibalize them. Other creatures might eat them, the dead ones, because you rarely come across other dead creatures. Like deer are pretty plentiful, so maybe that's why it's easy to come across a dead one because they're so plentiful.
But usually in the woods, something eats it. Yeah,
something will kind of devour. So it is usually rare anyways to come across any dead creature.
Well, don't they say sometimes they'll come across like deer that look like they've been ripped apart by something?
Oh yeah, I mean I've heard stories of people said they've seen that.
Where they've seen like the ankles snapped in half, or not the whole leg snapped like a twig.
Yeah,
which no animals can really do that.
They can't escape when their ankles are broken. Yeah, no, like you've got to have an opposable thumb to snap.
Yeah, or maybe they're using clubs, sneaking up on it and like breaking their legs with a club or something.
I heard a story about that with a wild pig. And it was one of those podcasts, and what it was doing was this hunter. Oh gosh, I can't remember I don't remember what the guy was doing that ran into him. I can't remember what his story was, but he was I think he was hunting wild pig, and all of a sudden he kind of sees something else, kind of watching the pigs too. So he kind of stands back and is kind of observing, and it jumps out. And I think it like grabbed one and pinned it down with its hand, the head.
Oh shit.
And another one it swung and hit it. And it hit it, and these pigs are heavy, right? And it flew and hit like a log or a rock or a tree or something like that. And killed it. Yeah, and then he grabbed the pig that he had smothered with his hand and like picked it up with one hand and like broke its neck or something like that. Damn. I was like just brute force. And then just grabbed both of the pigs. The one he clubbed with his hand, and the one he snapped the neck and just. Whoop.
Oh, you're getting too animated.
Yeah, I started dropping the mic.
You're getting all squatchy over here.
And he just grabbed him and threw him over his shoulder, or like I think he threw one over the shoulder and tucked one under like a football and walked off with him.
That'd be some cool shit to see.
That'd be like I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I gotta be hidden. I don't want to see
shit like that. I would have jumped out and be like, hell yeah, Squatch. That was the shit.
This isn't those Jets Links.
And then I would have
commercials
blasted one other pig with my gun and be like, shh, I got one too.
Do you think I've heard stories too where people are shoot at it and it doesn't really stop it. I mean, I'm sure it could have killed it later, but
yeah,
I've listened to a lot of stories, and I take everything with a grain of salt. Is this person lying? Because part of me it's hard to believe some of these stories, right?
Yeah,
but sometimes it's like, man, I don't know. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like a pretty genuine story. It's hard to tell. So,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes some people sound so believable with their... But, I mean, if they're being truthful, if you know the person telling the story and you know them not to be a liar...
Yeah.
Then, and they have some story to tell like that, I would listen to it. I'd believe them.
It's pretty interesting. What other takes do you have on Squatch?
On Squatches? I don't know. But I think I think I'd be down if somebody does that and does that for fun. I'd be down to go with them.
I mean, I don't think I would.
I'd use like a FLIR camera for heat.
That's a good one, right? Use like a FLIR camera, see something moving. Well, I want to hear if you guys got some stories. If you have some Squatch, Bigfoot stories, or if you guys believe or don't believe and a good reasoning, we want to hear it too. So again, our email is bukoboyspodcast@gmail.com or Instagram and Facebook @Buko Boys. You should post something about it and get a response out of it.
Okay,
I'll post something on that and
Bigfoot.
see what we can get. So we want to hear your stories. But what we were doing the other day is we were looking at movies, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, man, there's nothing really good that looks like it's coming out. So we're just kind of looking at random movies coming out. And I ran across the name of this movie.
And it was a stupid ass name. It was a stupid name that I have had no interest in. I was like, that sounds like the dumbest shit ever.
Just by the name alone, I was thinking it was like one of those sci-fi channel movies.
I was thinking like Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, good one, good one. That's a good comparison.
Kind of.
Did you even watch that movie?
Yes, I did. It wasn't bad.
Oh, really?
It wasn't bad. Well, it was okay. It was corny. The acting in it wasn't bad. I remember the whole plot of it. I mean, just for a sci-fi movie that it was. Like you think of a movie title like that, you think about like a really cheesy, corny sci-fi movie being on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was actually not that bad. I was able to sit through it and enjoy myself.
Interesting.
Of course, I had to take it for what it was and like go, oh my god,
right.
Oh my god. But it was pretty entertaining.
So the name of this movie is this is the whole title right here. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. All right.
Yeah, and it sounds as a stupid name.
So I thought for entertainment purposes, let's watch this trailer, right?
Because I'm like, that's a hard pass. Come on, what are you doing?
It's gonna be a pretty fun trailer because it's gonna be corny as hell. Well, we were mistaken.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott is the main character,
and he's always that mysterious country old man.
Yeah,
that big bristled mustache.
Yeah,
big white mustache.
Man, this trailer looks awesome.
Right? So it's like he looked like he was some badass military guy back in the day.
Yep, back in like World War II or something.
That he actually was the one that went in and killed Hitler.
Uh-huh.
And then now they're having an outbreaks because the Bigfoot has some kind of disease that we aren't immune to, and it's gonna wipe out the human race. So his mission is to hunt down and kill the Bigfoot before he spreads this disease to the human race. Because we don't have vaccines for this shit.
So he's out in the woods and he's hunting Bigfoot.
Right, and so yeah, he's tracking Bigfoot. He's finding footprints and going after him, and he's an old man.
Yeah,
it looks pretty interesting.
It looks badass. I mean, I love Sam Elliott.
Itself was stupid, and I was like, I hate that name.
And I'm worried that the name alone won't get it out there. Like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to even really find this in the theaters.
Even the other actors in here are really well known actors.
Yeah.
What's that? The guy from The Office.
I can't remember, but he's the guy that doesn't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
He's like the main character of The Office.
Yeah. So
not the TV show, the movie Office.
But
Office Space.
Office Space. Yeah. That's what it is. Office Space.
That's it. Yeah, he's in it. He's the government employee that's hiring Sam Elliott's character. I hope this comes out like in a few weeks. I think
so.
And I hope it goes to theaters. I'm like scared because it was like I was digging through upcoming movies, and I'm just like scared it won't even be out in theaters because I want to go see this.
I would like to see how this goes, like rating wise, before I go out to go see this. But I have a feeling it's going to do good.
And I'm not saying it because of the name Bigfoot. I'm just saying like the trailer, the acting, the whole story looks really good.
Right?
It looks really good. I'm not just saying
like a thriller.
Yeah.
Like
a little suspense.
Him tracking down Bigfoot and like him almost dying. It looks like.
Yeah, because he's out in the woods. He's by himself. So
it looks like he's hanging off cliffs, about to. Who's gonna save him?
Yeah,
Bigfoot maybe.
Oh, because they don't show the creature in the trailer.
And then maybe they form a bond.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
They just go hunt down villains across the world.
They hunt down Nazis.
Yeah. Hitler was number one. They just go on to North Korea, and then from there they go on to Russia.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know.
Like they're going to communicate.
Like these,
awesome.
Like, the whole movie plot was like Bigfoot's gonna have a disease.
Yeah, but we were surprised, right? We thought we were going to just be laughing at this trailer, at the bad acting,
Yeah, I thought it was
going to
be a horrible, horrible movie, but it looks pretty damn good.
It looks good. So we'll let you know if it goes out to theaters and we watch it. We'll let you know how it is because we want to watch it. Let's see. Anything else you got?
Nothing else for me.
So I know a couple things are this weekend. We're gonna try to do them all. Get to them. Obviously, my wife. We're gonna have a little get together for the family for her birthday this weekend. Sundance is going on this weekend. This weekend's the last weekend. Maybe we'll try to hit up there, see if we can get up there. And Super Bowl this weekend too.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl.
So some fun things happen around.
Are you excited for this game though?
I am. I wouldn't say excited. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna enjoy watching it. I already got me some snacks that I'm gonna watch it with, and I'm gonna be cheering for the Rams. I know that. So
I have a feeling the Patriots are gonna just blow right through them.
It's hard. It's hard to say because Goff is so new to the game, and Brady's legend. We should talk about that next episode after the results. And see, I got some ideas that we can maybe bring up. So it'll be all right. Well, wait. I think that'll be a good topic
about Brady,
or just about anything.
Okay.
Related to the Super Bowl.
So we'll have to see how this game plays out.
All right, but I'm going for the Rams. So.
Yeah, F the Patriots.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for listening or watching to the Buko Boys. We'll catch you next time.
We love you guys. Peace.